When you stand at the edge of a decision that could rewrite your future, your brain rarely weighs the logic of the move. Instead, it fixates on a single, heavy sensation, the fear of losing the ground you're currently standing on. There is an old fable about a troop of monkeys living in the canopy of a forest, right along the edge of a wide river. They spend their days in the same trees, eating the same fruit, living a life that is safe but entirely static. One night, a voice from the sky makes an offer. Any monkey who jumps into the river at the stroke of midnight will emerge from the water transformed into a human being. As midnight approaches, the troop gathers at the water's edge. The river looks cold, and the current is dark and fast. Not a single monkey moves. They are perfectly still, locked in place by the sight of the water. This is the moment of paralysis. They have been offered a path to a completely different existence. Yet the uncertainty of the jump is more vivid to them than the potential of the transformation. This is a biological reflex. We are evolved to prioritize the safety of our current branch, which leads us to treat any departure from the status quo as a threat, even when that departure is the only way to grow. Suddenly, one monkey breaks from the group. Without waiting for a guarantee, he launches himself from the high branch and disappears into the dark current. Seconds later, he walks out of the river on the opposite bank. He isn't a monkey anymore. He stands tall, walks on two legs, and looks back at his troop as a human. The others are stunned. They call out to him, asking how he found the nerve to risk everything on a voice from the sky, while they were all too afraid to budge. He tells them it wasn't about being fearless. It was about the math. He realized that if there was even a 1% chance the promise was real, it was a probability worth taking. He looked at the water and realized he was already an agile climber and a capable swimmer. If he jumped and nothing happened, he'd swim back to the shore, shake off the water, and return to being a monkey. He didn't see the jump as a life-or-death gamble. He saw it as a move with a high potential for change and a failure state that simply returned him to his baseline. This logic is what economists and statisticians call asymmetric risk. It occurs when the potential for gain is significantly larger than the potential for loss. We can map the monkey's choice onto a matrix to see why the crowd's hesitation was actually the more dangerous move. If you choose to stay, the outcome is fixed. Whether the promise was true or a lie, you remain a monkey in a tree. You have zeroed out your risk, but you've also zeroed out your possibilities. Now look at the jump scenario. If the promise is false, you fall into the water, swim to the bank, and end up right back where you started. The cost of the failure is just the effort of the jump. But if the promise is true, even if that chance is only 1 in 100, the outcome is a total shift in your state of being. You gain a new life that was previously impossible. The crowd in the trees was terrified because they were only looking at the water. They hallucinated a massive loss where only a temporary inconvenience existed. When the downside is capped at your current reality, but the upside is a new level of existence, the only illogical move is to stay on the branch. We often live like the monkeys in those trees, waiting for a 100% guarantee before we change careers, start a project, or move to a new city. We want to know for certain that the river won't be cold. But requiring a guarantee is a slower way of choosing to stay exactly where you are. It treats the safety of the status quo as a prize when it might actually be a cage. If you analyze your decisions through the lens of the matrix, you see that the path with the least danger often has the highest cost, the cost of a life that never changes. You don't need to be 100% sure. You only need to know that the potential gain outweighs the effort of the attempt, and that a failure won't leave you worse off than you are right now. If there is a 1% chance for a different life, the math is already in your favor, because the absolute worst thing that happens is you simply wake up in the life you already have.